For years, one powerful American family had total control over the busiest border crossing between Canada and the US. They called the shots, charged whatever they wanted, and Canadian exporters had no choice but to pay up. But that era? It's finally over. Mark Carney made it clear while standing in Windsor, right after Trump tried to block the brand new Gordie Howe International Bridge. No backing down, no regrets. Carney stood firm. He proudly said that Canada spent a massive $5.7 billion to crush a monopoly that had ruled for almost 100 years. The Gordie Howe Bridge, set to open in early 2026, will feature 6 full lanes linking Detroit straight to Highway 401. It's the longest cable-stayed bridge in all of North America, built entirely with Canadian money but co-owned by Canada and Michigan. And now Trump's throwing a fit about it. He blasted out on Truth Social, saying he wouldn't let the bridge open until the US got fully compensated. He ranted that it had virtually no American content and demanded the US should own at least half of it. Every single claim he made? Totally false. Michigan already owns half of the Gordie Howe Bridge. American Steel built the Detroit side, and American workers made it happen. The agreement's been public for years. Trump could have read it any time in the last 8. So today we're breaking down exactly why Canada poured $5.7 billion into building this bridge, to finally crush the stranglehold one powerful American family had over Detroit-Windsor trade. Can you believe that since 1979, one family has controlled a corridor that handles 25% of all Canada-US trade? A single family calling the shots on nearly a quarter of everything crossing between two nations. That's wild. And Trump's latest threat to block the bridge only proves one thing. He's got zero leverage left when it comes to Canada's moves. Before we get into the full story, if you value real talk and deep breakdowns like this, make sure to hit that like button. Now let's get into why Canada decided to take matters into its own hands and build this $5.7 billion giant. The Detroit-Windsor corridor isn't just another crossing, it's the lifeline of North American trade. Over 8,000 trucks roll through every single day. In 2023 alone, a jaw-dropping $51 billion in auto trade rolled through that single corridor. It's the backbone of an industry that supports around 150,000 jobs on both sides of the border. Every day, nearly 5,000 Canadians cross into Detroit for work. The entire North American auto world depends on that corridor running like clockwork. When it slows down or shuts off, assembly lines grind to a halt within days. The Ambassador Bridge, owned by one American family, was the choke point. In 2022, it finally blew up. Truckers protesting COVID restrictions blocked the Ambassador Bridge for 6 straight days. It was chaos. Ford had to idle its plants and General Motors cut down shifts. The whole system started cracking under pressure. Stellantis sounded the alarm. Production cuts were coming. Canada saw that chaos and made a bold call. This will never happen again. No country should have 25% of its total trade depending on a single, privately owned bridge. So Canada took charge and made a power move, building the Gordie Howe International Bridge. This wasn't about bragging rights or symbolism. It was about strategy and economic security. It was designed to erase a massive vulnerability. The new bridge brings redundancy, meaning if one route shuts down, trade keeps moving. It also brings real competition, ending a long-standing monopoly. And it's a game changer for logistics, connecting highway to highway, cutting out gridlock. The goal was never to wipe out the Ambassador Bridge, but to make sure Canada could never again be trapped by a single point of failure. That's why the government was ready to drop a massive $5.7 billion to make it happen. Canada even stepped up and financed Michigan's half, giving them 50% ownership, completely free. Because the real cost wasn't in the construction, it was in doing nothing. Staying stuck under monopoly control would have been far more expensive. Trump's threat to block the new bridge only proves that Canada made the right move. For nearly half a century, one powerful family, the Moroun family, controlled the busiest trade route between the US and Canada. Since 1979, they've owned the Ambassador Bridge. Think about it. One family running a 97-year-old bridge, collecting $60 million a year in toll revenue. For decades, they've operated it as a private empire. No public oversight, no accountability, just pure profit. Every heavy truck had one way to cross. When Michigan and Canada started talking about building a second crossing, the Moroun family went into full panic mode. They threw down $30 million trying to kill the project. They pushed a ballot initiative trying to block progress. But Michigan voters weren't fooled. They rejected it. That didn't stop the Morouns. They filed lawsuit after lawsuit claiming exclusive rights, but the courts shut them down every single time. Still, they kept fighting, hiring lobbyists and running flashy TV ads. The truth? It was all about competition. The Morouns knew exactly what a publicly owned bridge meant: lower tolls, fair prices, and the end of their monopoly. For decades, that bridge had been a personal gold mine, generating billions. But once Canada stepped in with the Gordie Howe International Bridge, their grip on cross-border trade finally started to crumble. So why did Canada foot the entire bill? That's the part that makes Trump's latest threat sound downright ridiculous. Canada didn't just chip in. It paid for everything. The full $5.7 billion straight out of Canada's pocket. No loan, no shared costs, no handshake deal. Canada wrote the check for the entire project. The details are right there in the 2012 agreement. It clearly says that Canada will finance and build the bridge while Michigan gets joint ownership for free. Canada will collect the tolls, use that money to pay itself back, and once the costs are recovered, Michigan starts getting 50% of net revenue. This deal wasn't secret. Michigan's Republican Governor Rick Snyder signed it himself. Then the U.S. Coast Guard granted a bridge permit in 2014, and the State Department issued a presidential permit in 2013. It was all approved. Even Trump was on board back in 2017, calling the bridge a vital economic link between Canada and the U.S. 2 years later, he even signed off on $15 million in federal funds for customs facilities at the new bridge. So what changed? So now, after all that support, Trump turning around and threatening to block it, it's pure political theater. The truth is, Canada took on the entire financial risk because Michigan's Republican-controlled legislature refused to put up a dime. Conservative lawmakers in Lansing didn't want state funds going toward it. So Canada made a bold calculation: we'll do it ourselves. They knew the Detroit-Windsor corridor was too important to gamble with. Canada needed redundancy so badly. This wasn't just infrastructure, it was economic self-defense. Subscribe to Canada Today 13. So here's the wild truth. Canada paid the full $5.7 billion and Michigan got a world-class asset for free. That's the deal Trump is now calling unfair to the United States. But if you look at what the bridge actually delivers, the only thing unfair is how much better it makes everything work. This isn't just another border crossing, it's a total game changer. It wipes out every single bottleneck the Ambassador Bridge created. On the Canadian side, the old bridge dumps trucks straight into city streets, traffic lights, stop signs, and pure chaos. The Gordie Howe Bridge fixes all of that with pure efficiency. It connects Interstate 75 in Michigan directly to Highway 401 in Ontario. No red lights, no stop signs, just a smooth, non-stop flow. That means 20 minutes saved per crossing, multiplied by tens of thousands of trucks daily. A University of Windsor study found the new bridge will save $2.3 billion over 30 years, all thanks to faster deliveries, less fuel burned, and tighter schedules. And here's the real win. It gives Canada exactly what it's been missing: redundancy. No more supply chain meltdowns. Now trucking companies finally have a choice. They can either pay the steep Moroun family tolls at the old bridge or cross the brand new Gordie Howe Bridge at fair public rates. That competition is already shaking things up. Prices drop, costs shrink, and both sides win. That's why Trump's threat makes absolutely no sense. He's trying to block a bridge that actually helps Michigan far more than it helps Canada. Detroit's auto industry literally depends on Canadian parts. Those components need fast, reliable crossings, not political drama. Even top leaders from both parties called out Trump's move. Senator Debbie Dingell warned that blocking the bridge would wreck Michigan businesses. Senator Alyssa Slotkin said Trump was punishing Michiganders for a trade war he started. Even Republican Rick Snyder spoke out. And here's the kicker: the bridge is 98% complete. Final technology testing is underway. Homeland Security even published a Federal Register notice, officially designating it as a port of entry effective March 2nd. Trump can't stop it without breaking federal permits. Trump's threat is empty talk. But here's where it gets interesting. His outburst wasn't really about the bridge at all. It was about China. Canada signed a new trade deal with China the same week, cutting tariffs on canola and EVs. Trump needed something to look tough. The move totally backfired, exposing just how little leverage he really has. He claimed the bridge had virtually no American content. False. Then he said Canada owns both sides. Again, false. Michigan owns 50%. Every single claim he made was wrong. The real facts are right there in the public record. Anyone can read the 2012 agreement. Michigan gets 50% ownership at zero cost while Canada fronts the bill. Once repaid, Michigan collects 50% of toll profits. Forever. Rick Snyder negotiated it, and the legislature signed it. Even Trump himself supported it in 2017, calling it a vital economic link. In 2019, he signed $15 million into law for U.S. customs facilities at the bridge, and now he's threatening to block it? Windsor's mayor is confident it will open right on schedule. After the threat, Mark Carney called Trump the very next morning. Calm and professional, he laid out 4 simple facts. Canada paid, Michigan owns half, and American steel built it. No shouting, no drama, just a clear reminder that facts are not up for debate. Trump's threat showed the real story. He's out of cards. He can't block a bridge Michigan wants open and can't punish Canada without hurting Michigan's own economy. The bridge isn't just concrete and steel, it's strategic independence. Canada said, never again. This move is part of a bigger pattern. Canada, building alternatives everywhere. From the Hudson Bay Railway to new deals in Europe and Asia, Canada's reducing risk, not picking fights. It's insurance, not rebellion. When the bridge opens, the monopoly collapses. The bridge proves one powerful truth. Every time Washington plays tough, Canada builds smarter. The $5.7 billion Gordie Howe Bridge isn't a protest. It's proof that Canada plans for stability. Subscribe to Canada Today 13 for more bold stories like this.